A Champions League, look, I think that's for the birds. I think that's a long way down the line, and I don't think we'll see it in the next 10 to 15 years. Welcome to One with Simon Jordan. Firstly, I enjoyed reading your comments last week. The majority that agreed with me, fantastic. The minority that didn't, you're just wrong. Now don't forget to continue to leave your questions in the comment sections below. Subjects of the day, the week and the month will be Newcastle and everything that goes with it. Of course, straight out of the gate will be who they can buy, which manager they're going to have, and when they're going to win Premier Leagues and Champions League. Look, conventional wisdom will tell you that it'll take them some time. Ask Man City. Look, I don't think we're going to see Newcastle anytime soon winning a Champions League. It's not because I'm all pithy and salty because a deal that went through that I didn't think would happen. I just think it takes a long time to change the fabric of a football club. They've got to stabilise it. They've got to start buying players that will be the first set of players that will come into a club with huge wealth on an interim basis, building to the next level. So a Champions League, look, I think that's for the birds. I think that's a long way down the line, and I don't think we'll see it in the next 10 to 15 years. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fought arguably one of the most compelling heavyweight fights that we've seen in a number of years. Technically, not a great fight, and Tyson Fury wasn't at his best, and Deontay Wilder was much bigger than he had been before. But to answer the question about whether they've reached their Everest, well, I suppose you could say that Fury reached his Everest in 2015 when he took the belts off Klitschko in the first place, and then he did go on a sabbatical for a variety of reasons, none of them great for him. He's back. He hasn't reached his Everest. He isn't undisputed. He hasn't won all the belts. You can't see Deontay Wilder being anywhere near the meaningful top of the pile again for the next 2 years, which takes him up to 38. So my view is whilst he hasn't had a huge amount of damage, he has been beaten up quite significantly by Tyson Fury. So if there were any one of them that probably should consider their future, insofar as you want to advocate anyone retiring, it probably is Deontay Wilder. Certainly not Tyson Fury. I think the fight game needs him. I think he needs the fight game mentally, but he needs big fights. I think it's well documented that I'm not a huge admirer of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, not because I don't think he's a decent football manager, not because I don't think he's a decent human being, but because I don't think he's a winner. And I think United, I'm not talking about what he achieved as a substitute for Manchester United, I'm talking about what he's achieved as a manager and what Man United require to be able to break through and get back into winning major tournaments. And the first major tournament they need to win is probably the Premier League. Now, that being said, you had a dysfunctional, disharmonious football, a club lacking harmony when he came in. He was brought in almost as a cheerleader to bring back some feel-good factor. And whilst he's done some of that, and that would be a positive, he's also bringing younger players through. So I think if you want to take a positive out of it, I think you take the positive that United as a football club are probably more united than they have been for some time. It's very difficult to feign any interest as a former Crystal Palace owner in the well-being of a Brighton manager. But let's just say for a moment I can superimpose myself into a role where I can actually feign the interest. I think he's a very sensible guy. I think his credentials go before him in terms of a decent performance abroad, which got him some reputation, which brought him into Swansea. But clearly, if you listen to Brighton, if you listen to Paul Barber, who's their chief executive, and if you listen to the Brighton fans, I think they've got a live one here in terms of a proper manager. He speaks well, his team plays well. I think if they had a proper goal scorer, then Brighton would be much further up the league. Now, the step between managing Brighton and managing Manchester United is vast. It's the difference between a 100-metre sprint and a marathon in terms of what's required of the person to do the job. But he's got all the credentials of every time he goes somewhere, he's getting better and better and better. But the difference of managing Brighton to Man United and the expectation level, the quality of player, the scale of interest and intrigue, and also imposition in terms of people constantly wanting to know why, if and or but, is vastly different. So I think it's unfair to suggest that he may become a Man United manager, but everything he's doing at this moment in time, he's doing well. But you get people like, say, Danny Boyle, the film director that produces wonderful films like Shallow Grave and Slumdog Millionaire, then he gets a massive film and it stinks the place out. Some people are just better at managing in smaller environments. So we'll never know, but Graham Potter strikes me as an ambitious guy with a good football philosophy and is doing a great job at Brighton currently. Don't forget to keep leaving your comments and your questions in the comment section below, and I will look forward to seeing you next week.